Welcome back to my channel. Today we shall be having a detailed conversation with Anupam from Dochaki Designs regarding his product Lokhand. Welcome Anupam from Dochaki Designs.
Hi Rustam.
So today we'll be speaking about your product Lokhand, and I feel this is one of the most original designs with reference to the Royal Enfield in the market. So let's begin with what's your inspiration behind this particular product?
Sure, definitely. Actually, Lokhand is one of our best designs. You can see what we have done till now, and it is one of the best, not the best I would say, but ground up build what we have done. Whole idea behind it, I'll tell you the premises of that.
Yeah, please.
Initially, actually, the build has been done for the India Bike Week 2016. So we were in the biker build off, and we were competing against 5 other builders from India. My inspiration for this build basically was 2 things. I'm a mechanical engineer, then I'm a master in design. So I wanted to incorporate both of those things into my design. And I have a huge respect for Indian Army. So if you see the vehicles or the machinery that's used by Indian Army, has a very geometrical shape to it. They are very raw, very sturdy. When you look at them, and they in itself they have a very appealing for everyone's eyes, in their own way. I mean, it's not like they're very stylish or something, but they have their own look.
It's got a presence that fear me, don't mess with me, kind of.
Exactly. As well as the impact of that, it's not only the fear, it also creates impact on your mind that it is something powerful.
Psychological warfare, like you see what I am, don't mess with me, otherwise you'll get the brunt of my power.
Right. Not only the power, it also shows that, we are not the people who are going to attack you, but don't mess with us.
Obviously.
So that was the whole idea. So I wanted to have that feel in that bike. So it should have a very raw feeling. It should have a presence of itself. It should have those geometrical shapes, because all the military equipments are not very curvy, or they don't have a lot of flowy lines and all. They are very geometrical. But being a designer, I can see design in those geometrical shape also. They are round, squares, rectangulars, basic shapes. But they have a very unique design philosophy, you can see. The second thing which was the basic idea behind this is that I don't want it to make it a tubular chassis. The design of this bike has been done in a way that normally in a motorcycle you'll see a frame, a tubular frame. The tank is mounted over it, the chassis and the engine and all other parts are mounted over it. But in our bike, we don't have a chassis or a frame, what you see. The frame itself acts as the body, and it itself acts as a tank. Only the part which goes inside is the engine. That is only extra part. So the frame and everything which is in surrounding also acts as the body panel. So if you see the whole bike, the 3 sides of the engine which covers the engine, they also act as the body panel as well as the chassis. So there is no separate part.
So basically there's no chassis, it's just the engine is sunk in the design of the bike, because
there is no separate chassis and a separate body. Chassis and body is the same thing.
It's the same thing, exactly. Yes.
So in itself, this is I wanted to make it in a single part, but due to manufacturing, the serviceability and limitations, you can say. So then we have made it in 2 pieces. So the tank part, the top part, which is a tank, is removable. But that is also a part of frame. So if you remove that part, the frame is incomplete.
Is it something like a monocoque?
Somewhat. Somewhat. You can say it is like that only. But that was the whole idea, that I don't want to have an extra part, because the second thing which I was telling about, that Indian Army don't use anything which is not useful. That's the second idea, that I don't want to have anything which is separate from the body, which is not useful.
So it's a very different design element that you've taken, and obviously that is a very gutsy move, because if the chassis is little off by an inch here and there, the entire alignment of the bike is going to go off.
It was a very big task for me to complete the chassis, and I cannot use a normal jig or fixture which we can use for making a normal frame or a tubular frame.
I understand.
Because this is completely made out of 5 mm, which is 6 mm thick plates. On both the sides we have plates. Those are specifically laser cut according to the design and dimension, then the bended accordingly. So all that has been done, and then in between they are being joined by the pipes, you can say tubes,
By the pipes.
so giving the extra strength as well as the stability, and as well as keeping the weight down. So the bike itself is not a very heavy bike. It looks heavy. It's
I
not
was
that.
going to come to that as well. With
Yeah.
reference to the weight. So now with reference to the bike, it looks like a tank on two wheels, but is it lighter than the stock Royal Enfield, or is
No,
it slightly heavier?
It's not a lighter bike because anyways we have put a 200 mm wide tire. The front tire is 140 mm. So
Okay.
keeping all that things in mind, it's comparatively heavier than the normal bike. But if you see, if somebody sees and say that okay, I have made a chopper out of a bike, and then add all those tank and mudguards and everything, the weight which we have in our bike is similar to that. So it's
Would
not like
you-
that. Yeah,
Would you have a particular number in terms of weight? Exactly how heavy is it?
you can say in the range of 250 to 300 kgs.
250 to 300 kgs. Okay. I think that's reasonable considering the design aspect.
If you see a normal Royal Enfield, it weighs somewhere around 80 or 190 normally.
Yes, yes.
If you add a bigger tire in front and back, and if you add lot of different things like all the mechanisms, shocker, swing arms, everything, so the weight almost goes around 200 to 250 easily.
Okay, so yours is as comparable to any modified Royal Enfield in the market. It's not heavier
Yes.
than that at least.
Yes.
Even though it looks heavier and sturdier, it isn't. Okay.
Exactly.
What is the heart of this particular machine? Is it a 350 or a 500?
It is a 350 and it's an old CI engine. It's a
Okay.
1983 engine what we have used in that.
Okay.
So it's not a new UC engine or a twin spark. It's an old engine which has a cast iron base, and on that also we have to make it a dry clutch.
Okay.
One of the reasons for that generally when we put a bigger tire in a Royal Enfield engine, we have to put a jack shaft in between to transfer the power from the engine to the rear wheel because the width of the tire.
Yes.
So we have to put extra shaft in between and then transfer that. So for removing that, we don't want to have that extra bulk and extra part coming out. So
Yes.
we have completely moved the clutch part out on the axle, and
Okay.
then from there we have switched the sprocket, front sprocket, a little bit out, and from there it directly goes to the wheel. So it's a completely straight line from there. So we don't have to put a extra sprocket or any jack
Yes,
shaft.
yes, I understood what you said. So this is one of the first white tire Royal Enfield that has a direct chain sprocket with the
Exactly.
engine and the clutch
Exactly.
plate.
So this, when we were doing it, we have to do it at dry clutch because at that point of time we don't have enough time as well as the capacity, you can say.
And it's just simpler.
Yeah, no,
It's cleverly simpler.
yeah, but the dry clutch has a limitation that it cannot go for a very long distances.
Okay.
That's the only one thing. But anyways, we are not going to drive it for 200 kilometers, 300 kilometers, so that's a different thing. But generally, it runs fine because we took it to Goa from Pune, not by riding it, but we rode it completely in Goa and all around places. So it was running completely fine with.
And with reference to the engine, have you increased the power? Is there any performance upgrade?
Yeah, we have slightly changed the head, the block pistons we have worked upon. The filters we have used an open filter, open air filter. So a lot of minor tweaks has been done on that so that power can be increased. Power has been increased for this particular tire and this particular size. But being an older engine, it still has that thump and the charm of the old CI engine. One more thing, what we have, the exhaust is not on the back side.
Yes.
It's in the front. So we have to completely make a new chamber for that. So it has all the bifurcations. The pipes has to come from both the sides. So we have designed in such a clever way that even if the bike is running and you touch the pipes, your hand won't get burned.
Okay.
So it was like that only. Yeah.
It reminds me of the old muscle cars where the exhaust used to come from the side. So
Exactly.
it's got a very nice retro feel over there. So I'm assuming in terms of the exhaust also, it's not just one pipe that's outside. You've properly designed the exhaust chamber
Exactly.
for the
We have properly
back
designed the
pressure as well.
exhaust chamber plus because the pipe has to go from both the sides because in a Royal Enfield you only have one bent pipe which goes to one cylinder, one chamber.
Yes.
But the chamber we have designed distributes that air to two sides because our exhaust was on both the sides of the engine.
There's another thing that I've noticed is obviously your front suspension, and you have cleverly used the old Rajdoot method of having a twin suspension up front. And that makes I mean, I'm assuming obviously the rake angle has been changed, but that also allows you to give the suspension a longer look, something like those 70s, 80s choppers used to have.
The rake angle in this is around 32 degrees.
Okay.
So as it is a completely the complete custom built chassis, so we have started from that only, 32 degrees. And initially I was thinking of going for a Springer forks, which is there in all the old choppers and everything.
Yes.
But when we were using it, when we were trying to build it, it was looking like it was not giving that effect for the whole bike, to help bulk in it, because the springs in front gives it a sleek look in front. So Springer forks.
Yes.
So then we thought what we can do about it. Then we thought about going for a Girder forks, but those are not like feeling. Design wise not that right. So then we thought, then let's go for inverted Springer forks. These are basically inverted Springer forks, which we have seen in the Rajdoots and all the old Rajdoots and all that.
Yes.
Yeah. So we have tried to use a similar mechanism, not exactly the same. It has a mix of those mechanisms plus the Springer forks assembly. So we have tried to use a mix and match of both the designs. So because of the tire size and the front tire width, we have gone for this, and it's quite comfortable on riding and everything. It's almost around 7 foot long bike.
Well, we hope you liked part 1. Stay tuned for part 2, where we shall be covering other aspects of the build, including the price.